to do it because, let's face it folks, I get myself distracted very, very easily. Thank you for joining. Please smash a like away on your way into the video. Please do also get involved in our poll. So I've put up there, will there be a comeback tonight for any team? So one option is yes, Newcastle. Another option is yes, Chelsea. Another option, yes, both. Or lastly, nah, it's decided already. So we'll keep an eye on that. Get your votes coming in. So far, all of the votes are yes, Chelsea. Chelsea's going to make a comeback. So nobody is feeling at this moment in time Newcastle. But as the stream goes on, I am sure we will get more and more votes in on that. And it will change the look of the outcome. So do get involved. I see Flossie in the house. I see Rob Alba's United in the house. Thank you for joining, folks. And as I see Flossie, I have remembered to move the mic closer to my mouth so you can hear what I'm saying, whether you want to or not. But as I said, we've a lot to get through and not a lot of time. I normally can waffle and we don't really have a time limit, but tonight the football kicks off at 8 p.m. Everybody's going to want to be out of here. So let me share my screen with you so I can make sure you can see. Oh, dearie, I did this last night as well. So clever. Okay, you should be able to see it now. That should be the job. So let me know if the black square has turned into a square with some football fixtures inside it. Hopefully it has. It should do. Obviously tonight we have Arsenal, Chelsea. Tomorrow, Man City, Newcastle. So let's actually, why did I click the button? I'm so excited I clicked the button too fast. So I'm going to do the two of them this evening because tomorrow night I am going to be on with the very lovely Kate and Jimbo on Kate and Jimbo. I'm going to be live streaming with them, previewing the United Spurs match for the weekend. So I'm going to have a look at both of the Carabao Cup ties this evening in preparation for tonight and tomorrow. But let's look at the previous results before I run away with myself. Man City did beat Newcastle 2-0 in the first leg, and Arsenal beat Chelsea 3-2 in the first leg. So Lumen is letting me know the lineups are out. I'm going to click in now in one little minute and I'll go through those lineups. Flossie letting me know that you guys can see it. Huge is in the house. Nice to see you, friend. Yes, Flossie, I am very much looking forward to that stream. Obviously, our lovely Kate was on with myself the other day on Sunday, which we had a great old time. Poor Jimbo is going to need a headache tablet after listening to us tomorrow evening. Guess is in the house, reminding everybody to hit that like button, correct and right. So what we'll do before we go any further, because if the lineups are out, we might as well confirm lineups. So good shout, Lumen. Let's take a look at the lineups because it might influence how people feel the game is actually going to go this evening. So for Arsenal in net, we have Kepa, and then you've got Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié. Then you've got Eze, Zubamendi, Rice, Madueke, Gyökeres, Martinelli. Okay, then for Chelsea, bless him with his little red. So the scores that you can see, as far as I understand, are their scores from the previous match. So it's based on how they performed in the first leg of this round. So in goal for Chelsea, you've got El Sanchez, having a bit of a mixed season, God love him. Then you have Hato, Chalobah, Fofana, Cucurella, Enzo Fernandez, Santos, Caicedo, Malo Gusto, João Pedro, and Liam Delap. So, nothing really crazy, I don't think, about those lineups. Pretty strong for Arsenal, very strong for Arsenal, as strong really as they can go. You know, obviously they've got a lot of their players now back from injury. It gives Arteta a lot of choices. He's gone good and strong, particularly there at the back, which tells you he's taken this competition and this match seriously, despite the fact that they won the first leg. If we go to Chelsea, Obviously, Liam Rosenior has had an incredibly good start to his time at Chelsea. Both himself and Carrick, I believe, are going to be up for Manager of the Month this season. Lumen is asking, is it 3-5-2 for Chelsea? That's the way they've put it out on the graphic here on SofaScore. To be fair though, when they actually play it on the pitch, it could end up being something completely different. I know often they do that with United. They line us up one way, and I know, because obviously I know where my players normally play, I look at the lineup and I go, right, that's probably not where they're actually going to be sitting when the match kicks off. But it's highly possible, because we obviously know a back three can become a back five, and Rosenior might be setting up, thinking obviously of Arsenal's attack, their ability to score goals, and preparing for that to be able to become more defensive quickly when needed. But to be honest, it's one of those, we'll have to see it when it's actually on the pitch to see what's actually going to happen. Now, most of you know my feelings on Liam Delap, and I'm going to go straight in for him, because obviously the important thing is Chelsea are going to need to outscore Arsenal. So at the moment, Arsenal are a goal ahead, which means that Chelsea need to beat them by a goal or more, which means not only do they have to be good defensively, but they also need to be good up top. Liam Delap, as the striker, as the new signing, really should be the guy they're looking to for that. But let's be clear, Liam Delap is not having a good time of it. The man, first of all, needs to stay on the pitch. He needs to not get silly yellow cards. He needs to not get sent off for doing nonsense. And then while he stays on the pitch, he needs to actually do something productive to help his team. Like, I don't know, score a goal. What I am noticing about this lineup is that Garnacho is not in it. Little Garnacho. And let's see, because I have some quotes from Little Garnacho. And who have I? Oh, Nathan. Nathan's in the house. Nice to see you back with us, Nathan. Nice to see you. So, Alejandro Garnacho, in the press conference, as he does, comes out with a big pile of nonsense. Alejandro Garnacho on facing Arsenal tonight for Chelsea. If, for example, Manchester United can beat them, they're at the Emirates, we can do it perfectly. And if any rival fan has ever wondered why Manchester United fans do not like this young man, it is because of silly statements like this. Now, maybe that will endear him, and I don't know because I'm not a Chelsea fan. Maybe that is an attempt to endear himself to the Chelsea fans. Maybe that's his way of, a bit of front, a bit of banter, a bit of, rivalry. He's trying to show, I am a Chelsea player. I'm proud of being a Chelsea player. If they can do it, we can do it. And maybe that's something that the Chelsea fans will enjoy, because obviously they're rivals of Manchester United, and I'm sure they'd be delighted at a sly little dig to their rivals. They're rivals for the top 5 for the Champions League positions in the Premier League this year as well. So maybe from the Chelsea fans' point of view, they're going to be pleased with this quote. As a United fan, I'm like, this is exactly why you didn't work out with United. Silly comments, unnecessary, and I'm just reminded of his brother, I'm reminded of the social media posts, I'm reminded of the Villa jersey, I'm reminded of all of the things that damaged his reputation while he was still at our club. It makes me sad, because I'm one of the United fans that thinks he's very promising. He does have a talent. His problem is his big gob. And if he could learn to keep his big gob shut and actually just learn and pay attention and develop himself, I just think he would do so much better. And it just irritates me, because he's a player that I wanted to see do so well, and he just hasn't. But he's not in the lineup, which, to be fair, actually I think is a good thing. Many of you have heard me say, will take away his silly little comments and the fact that he just riles me up. He riles me up. But we'll take all that away. He's a talented player, but when you start him, he doesn't perform well. And I think Chelsea fans have started to learn that over the last couple of matches where he has been started and he's done all of nothing. Because we know as United fans, he's not known for playing well when he starts. He's so much better when he comes on as a sub. He's a really good sub. He's fast. He's attacking. He does frighten defenders because he does have a talent. And I think when he sat on the bench for kind of 60 minutes watching what's happening, he's very good at coming on and running at the right players and knowing what to do. He's far, far, far better. He's the super sub type. He's obviously not an Ollie, but he's the super sub type. He's far better when you bring him on towards the end of a match than if you start him. Obviously, Liam Rosenior has seen that as well as his fans over the last couple of matches, and he has decided to keep him on the bench. I don't necessarily see it as he's been benched. You know, when that's used as a criticism of a player, he's been benched. I actually think in this case, particularly with Garnacho, you're playing when you start him off, or when you start him off the bench, but when you take him off the bench in the game, you're actually getting the best out of him. So I don't see that as him being dropped as such in the traditional sense. I actually think it's just Rosenior recognising the way to get the best out of him. Now, Nathan was saying hello, not only to me, but to everybody in the chat, which is lovely. Lumen with a good point. Garnacho kept the tie alive with his 2 goals at the bridge. And that's a very good point, Lumen, because to be fair, I've seen a lot of criticism from Chelsea fans going in on Garnacho after the last couple of matches because he's not been very good. But without him, they wouldn't even still be in this tie. They could be 3-0 down. So it's a really good point. You know, you can criticise him for the things he does wrong, like opening his gob, but also you have to give him credit for the things he does well, and he single-handedly almost has kept us in this tie. So I completely agree with that, Lumen. Good point. He should not be criticised for failing to get past Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Well, yes and no, because it's his job to get past him. So I do think you can criticise him for not getting past him. However, we do have to acknowledge the fact that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is he's a very, very good defensive player. We know that at Manchester United. He's a very, very good defensive player. And like the reason we had a choice at the time really of if we wanted to keep Aaron Wan-Bissaka and we wanted to keep Dalot. A lot of United fans, and I'm not included in this as you well know, a lot of United fans wanted to keep Dalot because he was seen as a more attacking minded player. He could go forward, which is what we wanted at the time. The club agreed, clearly, and we moved Aaron Wan-Bissaka on, but there was never a question over who was a better defender. It was always Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So while I think, yes, you can criticise an attacking player for not getting the attack, I do also think you have to give credit to the defender who was stopping it in the first place. So agree with that. Nathan is saying, we loved Garnacho so much and gave him the Ronaldo chant. If only he could stop his theatrics. Agree, Nathan, I completely agree. That is exactly how I feel about him. I really had so much hope for him. I liked him so much. And he was his own worst enemy. He was his own undoing. Wills is in the house. Hello, Wills. Nice to see you. We are speaking on your match right now this minute. I don't know if you've seen the lineup, but there's it on the screen, so you'll be able to have a wee look there as you're joining us. Lumen is asking, would I say it was right what that fan did to Garnacho? Faz. No. I think fans can criticise players. Clearly. I criticise players regularly. However, I think you have to have an awareness as well. And to be fair, at the time when Faz made that comment in person to Garnacho, there's 2 things. So at the time, Garnacho was signing autographs and interaction with fans voluntarily. It was something he didn't have to be doing. He went out of his way. He was actually in the middle of doing something good and positive, and you took the opportunity of him doing something good and positive to slag him off. So I don't think that's the right time or place. You can criticise a player, but I don't think that's the time and place. I think there's a way of going about things. The second thing was, at the time, Faz was on the United Stand, which is obviously, I believe, the biggest fan channel for football on YouTube. There's millions of people watch it, certainly hundreds of thousands, but I believe millions. It's an enormous platform, and when Faz is on that platform regularly, then when he goes and says things, he's not just speaking as a normal fan at that moment. He is speaking as a representative for one of the biggest fan channels in the world. He's speaking as a representative of a channel that has millions of viewers, and he's not speaking like if I went and said that to Garnacho. nobody's going to pay attention because who the hell am I? But when you have someone like Faz who's on a platform like that, you have to be aware of the surroundings. So no, I don't think it was right at all. Even if you agree with the sentiment, I don't think it was the right time or place. Let me see, what else are we saying? Nathan is saying, I don't agree with the Chelsea decision of arresting Reece James. Very good point. That is something that they may come to regret. Absolutely, 100% maybe something they come to regret. Totally agree, Nathan. Great point. Nathan adds to that, James was their pressing trigger and also helped in set pieces. I totally agree. I definitely think they could miss him this evening. And I just think, see, if you just look at the lineups, obviously there are some strong players in Chelsea's lineup, and sometimes it's not about the individuals, it's about the sum of, like, you know, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It may just be that they perform better as a team. But if you just look at it as a starting 11, and then you look at Arsenal as a starting 11, I mean, to be fair, Arsenal looks by far and away the stronger starting 11. So I do think we have to acknowledge that. What I would say is that Rosenio seems to be getting something out of them as a group. And as you know, anyone who's been on my lives the last little while, I have a real just positive vibe from Rosenio. I've been really impressed with him so far. I think he's doing really well. I think he's hit the ground running. I think he's self-assured. I think he knows what he's doing. I really like him as a manager. I think he's doing really well. I think this is an enormous test. And I do think if Chelsea are able to do a madness and beat Arsenal on aggregate and go through, I think people are talking about what it would do to Arsenal's season, which is understandable because at the moment, Arsenal, it's possible for Arsenal to do a quad. It's certainly possible for Arsenal to do a treble, which we know how incredibly hard that is. So people are talking about the impact it would have on Arsenal to not go through to the next round of this, and obviously to fall out of the first cup they have the potential of winning. However, look at the impact it could have for Chelsea. Chelsea, who some people, including myself, were talking about being like in a title race before the season started. Chelsea, who have had this notorious only recruiting young people strategy. Chelsea, who are burning through managers like Maresca, who left under a cloud of poison. Chelsea, who people are taking the mick out of constantly. So if Chelsea, with their brand new manager, can come from behind to put Arsenal out of this cup, it would be absolutely sensational. It would be sensational for the club, and it would be sensational for Liam Rosenio as a new manager that people just didn't think anything of, have completely dismissed, have made a laugh of. He'll be well clapping his hands with no gloves if he manages to turn this around and put Arsenal out. And given the form that he's had since he's come to the club, I don't think it's out of the question. And I think people are dismissing it a little bit too easily. And I don't mean Arsenal fans. I mean kind of rivals out there. And I don't mean specific. I mean, you see it on X, you see it on YouTube. You know, I mean just people are counting it out. And I just think you can't count it out. Wills is agreeing with me in the chat. He is saying Rosenio and Carrick are becoming problematic. Agreed. And the thing is, as much as I'm enjoying Rosenio so far, if he becomes problematic to my club's chance of Champions League football, we're suddenly going to fall out, whether he knows about it or not. Myself and Liam will fall out. Lumen is saying, Reece coming on, impact will be helpful in the second half. So Lumen is thinking, same as Garnacho, Reece could be, if Rosenio, so if we look at what Rosenio did in the match the other day, 45 minutes, 2 half-time subs, and an unbelievable team talk. So if we're looking at what he's done in the past that's worked, is he looking at, okay, well, if I need to at half-time, Garnacho and Reece James are getting on that pitch. I know they're difference makers. I know we can turn games around. So you have to think, okay, well, this is a strategy we've seen him deploy before, and it's been highly effective for him. So there's every possibility he's thinking of doing the same thing in this match, because not everybody has a squad the size of Arsenal's. So very possible. Wills is saying, I'm hoping Eze is a derby demon. A derby demon. I like that one. That's a good one. I like that. I like alliteration. It makes me happy. So Eze, how do you feel, Wills? I feel Eze has been underwhelming since he went to you guys. And I know a lot of Arsenal fans are saying, look, he's only settling in. It's a smaller team to a bigger team. He's finding his role. He's finding his feet. He's getting to know his teammates, etc., etc., okay? They're all valid things to say. Nobody's saying that's not true. However, I expected Eze to hit the ground in the same way Semenyo did at City. And I've been surprised by his performances so far. I expected more. But yeah, I just, maybe this is it. Maybe he just needs one match and that'll set him off. But let me know what you think, Wills, because you're repping Arsenal in the house tonight. What else? This scroller, it's so annoying. It misses a whole load of them. Nathan is saying, Lou, I still believe if you compare both teams, Arsenal is rock solid and Chelsea, on the other hand, is too dependent on Chalobah and Caicedo for defensive duties. And I think that's completely fair. I definitely think if you look at this team, it is not as strong as Arsenal's team. And really it depends very much so what Sanchez turns up, because I've seen Sanchez make some unbelievable saves. He has kept Chelsea in some matches that they would have been out of or lost otherwise. But then I've also seen him have complete howlers. So I think if he turns up, if you get the best of him in a match, if João Pedro seriously performs, if Caicedo and Chalobah are on it, then I could see this being turned on its head. However, I could completely see it being totally the other way around, and we might all have hope, Wills, for Chelsea, and then Arsenal muller them. So I do agree, there's no comparison if you look at the squads or the starting 11s, 100%, but that isn't always the decider. Sometimes they surprise us. Nathan is added to his previous point, but you know what, Lou? Enzo Fernandez has been in red hot form and he's going to make a huge impact. No wonder PSG is after him like a rabid dog. Yes, Enzo Fernandez has been very good. He's obviously in flying form. He was showing everyone his six-pack the other day. He's loving life at the minute. He's coming in on a on a hot streak of form, so you never know what he might do. Wills is saying 3-2 is too close, it's anyone's game, and I totally agree. 3-2 might as well be 1-0, and we all know how dangerous of a score 1-0 is when there is only one goal in it. As you say, Wills, it really could be anyone's game. Mama Flossie is saying, I agree, Wills. Chelsea could come out fighting. They could. Nathan is saying, Reece isn't on the bench. He's rested for this game. Oh, he's not even on the bench. He's completely out. I didn't even look at the subs. Look at all the subs Arsenal have. They're just I have to say, their squad is unbelievable. You would be jealous of it. How's Estevao on the bench? Was he not away for a family bereavement in Brazil? How is he possibly on the bench? Can somebody who knows more about Chelsea than me please confirm what the hell that is? I didn't even think he was in the country. I thought he was in Brazil. He'd had a family bereavement and he was taking family time. Obviously he's back, but to get to Brazil, it's a long old flight. So where I go, essentially they don't have, see in Brazil, well, the last time I was there, which was a few years ago, they don't have see the way we have Ryanair or EasyJet and stuff. They don't have that. They don't have budget airlines. So to get into Brazil, you have to go in through either Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo and then internally fly from one of those main airports to another part of the country, wherever it is that you're going. But so to go from here in Ireland, I have to go from here to Europe, to Brazil, to the part of Brazil that I'm going to. And obviously if he's going from England, he would be able to go direct from England to the main airport in Brazil, and then potentially whatever town he's from in Brazil. But it's a minimum if he's just going England to Sao Paulo or Rio, it's like a 13-hour flight. So if he's going even further than that internally, that's insane. So I don't understand that. I cannot understand how he could possibly be on the bench. I don't get that. So if somebody knows how to to transport themselves, let me know, because I think he might have figured it out. What else are we saying? Hold on. My scroller keeps scrolling. Yeah, I know it's supposed to scroll, but it keeps scrolling too far. Lumen is saying, which is obviously going to make Wills happy. Lumen is saying, Arsenal are 100% dependent on Declan Rice. In fact, if they let Declan play as a full-time central defensive midfielder, then they won't need Zubimendi and play a creative player instead. Means less relying on set pieces. The thing is, if the set pieces are working for them, why would they stop doing them? So for example, do you see if United, and United have been good at set pieces this season, but if United is scoring from all the set pieces and we're doing really well and it's winning us matches and it has us top of the league, it has us in all the competitions, I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm not going to be like, listen lads, see that thing we've been doing all season that's really working? Let's just not do that anymore. I'm absolutely going to keep going with the set pieces, because why wouldn't I? I'd be a bit silly. If it's helping your team and it's working, why would you stop? I understand it's a criticism that people throw at them, but I have to say, it's one of the things, and I've been consistent with this, it just doesn't bother me. It doesn't annoy me. See, if the ball goes in the back of the net, fair play. I don't care how you get it there, unless you're flinging yourself on the ground like City players, because that annoys me. Where else? Rob is off. I hope that Rob fella dropped his like before he left us. Let me see. Wills, this is about Eze. So he's not been as good for us, but he's gone from big fish, small pond to small fish, big pond. He'll get there at some point. Fair enough. Mama Flossie has caught Wills out. Are you saying Arsenal is a small pond? No, I think he's saying Arsenal is the big pond, with Eze being the small fish in that case. Lumen is saying, Wills, the unity and togetherness I saw at Chelsea after the West Ham comeback tells me they will be unstoppable from now onwards. Well, behind the dugouts would love comments like that. Kai would love that. What else are we saying? Mama Flossie is asking where Kai is. Well, I'll tell you where Kai is, because I know where he is, because I messaged him earlier to see if he was free to hop on this chat with me. But actually, Kai is going to be doing a watch along on his channel for this match. Obviously, I know, Flossie, you won't be joining that because you will be watching Newcastle. But if anybody is looking for a watch along for the match, you won't be watching it because it's tomorrow. I keep thinking they're both tonight because we're talking about them both tonight. But if anybody's looking for a non-Arsenal watch along for the Arsenal-Chelsea match, Kai on Behind the Dugouts, he is doing a watch along for this match. So that's exactly where he's going to be, behind the dugouts for a watch along if anybody is looking for one. Nathan is saying the concern is, why is Palmer or Estevao not starting? Estevao, I'm assuming, is because I didn't even think he was in the squad, to be honest. So I'm not surprised he's not starting. He had a family bereavement very recently in the last few days, so I'm not surprised. And then he did travel to Brazil. He's obviously back, but there's no way I'd be astounded if he had started. With Cole Palmer, they say Cole Palmer's not injured anymore. They say it was a little niggle and he's fine and he was rested and it was precautionary, blah, 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 blah. I think that's a lie. I actually think Cole Palmer's still injured. I don't think he's fully recovered, because he was out for quite a while and then he was back and then he was out again like after a match or so, and then they were saying no, he was rested for a different match, and then he was on and he was sort of like, I don't think Cole Palmer's fully fit, so I think that's why he's not starting, if I'm being totally honest, but that's my conspiracy theory. Let me see. Oh, were you talking about Kai Havertz? Oh, no, Behind the Dugouts. Okay. I was like, have I gone on this speech? And I was the wrong Kai. Let me see. What else are we saying? Lumen, be nice to our Wills now. Be on your best behaviour. I would say I agree with Wills. I think the score is very close. It's 3-2. I think Chelsea have been doing well under Liam Rosenior. I think he's doing unbelievably well with the squad that's available to him. However, if you look at the lineups, Arsenal are incredibly strong. So to be honest, I genuinely think this match could go either way. If you said to me, from the future, Chelsea win and they put Arsenal out, I could see that happening. If someone told me Arsenal win, they absolutely smash Chelsea, I could totally see that happening as well. If you told me either of those things, I would fully believe you, which I think makes it for a good match, because you're not watching the match going, oh, well, we already know what's going to happen. It's a foregone conclusion. Do you know what I mean? What I would say is you're relying on the likes of João Pedro and Enzo Fernandez to have really good matches, and you need Liam Delap to just pull out his performance of the season tonight as well. You also need Zubimendi to turn up, because he made a dreadful mistake. Oh, Guess is on it. That's a link for Behind the Dugouts. So don't go right now. When we're done with the stream, click that link. It'll bring you to Kai, which would be excellent. Kai is great. He's really nice, really chilled. Lovely chat that when he was on the channel with me. So definitely go and give him a shout after this if you're looking for a watch along. But it is 7:30. Everybody's going to want to go and get ready for the match soon. So what I want to do is take a look at the other match that is going to be taking place tomorrow. But as I said, I will be on with Kate and Jimbo tomorrow from 7 p.m. on their channel. So I won't be doing a live preview. So I'm including it in tonight's show. So Man City, Newcastle. As we know, Man City won the first leg 2-0. Okay? It's not good. It's not looking good. And Flossie, am I right in saying it's you guys that have the bad away record? Am I right there? Sometimes I get you and Spurs mixed up, and I'm not even being funny. I know one of you is really bad away from home. So Flossie, you'll be able to let me know if it's you or them. But 2-0. And you're now going to their stadium. You're going to the Etihad to play Man City. Now, there's two things. Obviously, in their most recent match, Man City were 2-0 up against Spurs, and Spurs, in 45 minutes, managed to come back to 2-2. And my thinking is, if Spurs can score 2 goals against Manchester City, then why can't Newcastle? Because I would consider Newcastle to be better than Spurs. They're definitely more united as a team. Their overall season has definitely been better. And I would suggest that maybe, and this one might be arguable, Eddie Howe was a better manager. There's certainly more goodwill between himself and his players, and the whole thing is more cohesive than it is at Spurs. So my thinking is, if that Spurs can score 2 against City, it's not impossible for Newcastle to do it. However, I do think it's more likely for Chelsea to make a comeback than Newcastle. I don't think it's impossible. I don't think they can be written off. I think if they can score early, if they can get into the match and score early, put City on the back foot, I do think it's possible that Newcastle can come back into the match. It's going to be a good one. But I do think Newcastle need to come out of the traps early. They need to come out of the traps fast. They need to get an early goal. They cannot allow Manchester City to score before them. They just can't let it happen. Let me see. What are you? Flossie, yes. So there's your problem. Your away record, not fantastic. But maybe now is the time that's going to change. I mean, if you're going to turn your away form around this season, now would be an excellent match to start the comeback off your away form. What else are we saying? What else are we saying? We're having great old chats in there. Nathan is saying, but the thing is, Spurs got those 2 goals purely on individual brilliance, and Man City has been in a rut for the past month. But that's correct. Man City has been in a rut. Haaland has been in a rut. I stand to be corrected on this, but I saw a stat the other day that Erling Haaland has only scored 2 open play goals so far in January, which all goals count. It doesn't matter if it's a set piece or open play. However, that's unusual for him. It's not that there's a problem with set piece goals, but obviously Erling Haaland normally scores loads of open play goals. So the fact that he's only scored 2 or so open play goals in January is a sign that he's not at the tip top of his usual form. So I find that very interesting, and it's something to be aware of. Obviously, the noises have been growing over the last while, and I've talked about it a few times. The noises that Pep Guardiola at the end of the season is going to leave City. For me, the louder those noises get, the more discord it's going to sow in the dressing room, the more uncertain it's going to make them. I think it's impacting the players. We saw what happened, the first time that Sir Alex Ferguson announced he was going to retire. It really threw our season. It happened then under Jurgen Klopp that they were thrown. It happens. These people are only people, and some people don't like change. Do you know what I mean? So when there's loads going on behind the scenes, it does affect what happens on the pitch. The question essentially is, will Manchester City come into this match angry after what happened with Spurs and mount kind of a revenge, and Newcastle are going to get it because they're the team they're playing? Or has it just derailed them further? They've already not been having a great time. Has that got in their heads, and has it derailed them further? And is this actually the perfect time for Newcastle to be playing them? So it could go one way or the other. I just feel like they're unravelling a little bit. I think this is normally the time when they start running, when they put runs together, when they start chasing down anyone that's in front of them, when they go on these mad winning streaks. And I actually think this season they're going completely the other way. It feels like the unravelling that people were expecting from Arsenal, actually City's doing it. What City are doing is what I expected Arsenal to do. I feel like they've swapped spots, like mentality-wise. So again, it's very interesting to see. Flossie is saying, it's a big ask, Lou. Hopefully the lads will be up for it. I hope so too, because if they approach it with intensity, I think it's easy to unsettle City. City's already unsettled. I think if you turn up and stick it to them, they'll freak out. They will just freak out. Wills is saying Newcastle winning it twice in a row would be good for the Premier League. Interesting point as well. So, reigning champs, the reigning holders, that's an interesting angle on it as well. Let me see. Lumen, remember to play nice, please. Jessie Talks Football is in the house. Nice to see you, Jessie. Thanks for joining. Nathan is saying, start of the season, the media overhyped Haaland and Kane so much and undermined Mbappe, and Mbappe is still scoring unlike the other two. So let's because I know you guys are going to want to go get your drinks, your food, your snacks and everything ready for the match upcoming. I'm assuming everybody's going to be watching it. Ray is in the house and he is saying tune black and white army. So Ray is cheering on the Toons against Manchester City with his cannon. So let me take a look. We've had 15 votes, so that's quite a few votes on the poll. So I'm going to end it there and we will look at the final result of the poll. Will there be a comeback tonight? The top result is 53% of you think Chelsea will make a comeback against Arsenal tonight. So very interesting. Second highest votes was 27% saying no, it's decided already, the two winning teams are going to win. 13% of yous reckon Newcastle are going to come back. They're going to do a Spurs and they're going to come back against Manchester City. 7% of you think both of them are going to make a comeback. 53% is massive. That's like more than half of the people that voted. That's a pretty big percentage think Chelsea are going to come back against Arsenal. So Wills, it looks like you might be right to to be nervous. But let me take a look. So I had a look as well, just a quick one before we go. I had a little look because sometimes we get into the competition, we're watching the match and you're going, is there extra time? Is it straight to penalties? I don't know. And I never know. So I looked it up. I'm in the mirror because it's free to look at it. So their points on the Carabao Cup was, if the aggregate score is level after 90 minutes of the second leg, the match will go to 30 minutes of extra time. And then if the score remains tied, it will be decided by a penalty shootout. So it's not straight to penalty shootout. There will be extra time. VAR will be in use. So for the early rounds of the Carabao Cup, VAR was not in use. VAR is in use because we are at the semi-final stages. So, look, there we are. Chelsea team news. Estevao returned to Brazil for compassionate leave, with Liam Rosenior not pushing the teenager to return before he's ready. Jamie Gittins, Philip Jorgensen are likely to remain out, with Reece James and Cole Palmer expected to feature. So Reece James, as we've seen, is not in the team after all. Cole Palmer is going to be on the bench. But, so, if you're wondering, if it gets to that, if particularly, since that's the one we seem to be reckoning it's going to happen, if Arsenal, Chelsea or Man City, Newcastle end up an aggregate score of a draw after 90 minutes, you're going to extra time and penalties. So just prepare yourselves, people. You might need coffees, never mind beers. What else is everybody saying? Oh, it's kicking off. It's kicking off now. I see it. What else have we got? What else? Nathan is sending messages of encouragement. Chelsea, remember they aren't Arsenal, they're Barcelona. Now go and demolish them. Wills is going to be putting a wanted ad out for new friends. Ray is saying we're getting gaslit in here, Wills. Well, do you know what? At least there's two of yous. Yous can help each other out. Yous can support each other through this. They're trying to get rid of us. We would never try and get rid of you. We love you guys, Ray and Wills. Yous are actually two of the nicest Arsenal fans out there. Unfortunately, we strongly dislike your team. It's a pity because yous are nice guys, but poor taste in football teams. Let me see. Right, lads, I'm going to let everybody go. We're 45 minutes into the stream. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Please do smash a like if you haven't done so already. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. We are growing. We're on the way up. And obviously, the more in our little band, the merrier. I will be seeing everybody tomorrow. So as I said, I am going to be with Kate and Jimbo on their channel, Kate and Jimbo. Kate has set it up in a way that it should also stream on my channel if I don't break the technology. So if I push the right button, you should also be able to see the stream from 7 p.m. tomorrow on my channel. If you can't spot it, get yourself over to Kate and Jimbo. We'll be having a lovely old chat, and then obviously Thursday or Friday I will be back then live with Ash. Have a lovely evening. Best of luck to everybody. I hope you all end the evening happy, and I will chat to you all very, very soon.